Hi,
Hi,
what's your name?
Aishwarya.
Nice to meet you.
Same here.
So we're here in the Real Green Cafe. What made you want to set up a vegan cafe?
We have been doing a lot of outreach for veganism, and the number one problem or the number one issue that we came across through a lot of people was that there was no vegan place. No place where you can just go and just order without fear of contamination or fear of whether it's actually vegan or not. So so that's when I thought that it's high time that Pune has its own place, a place where vegans can really come and enjoy their food without having any kind of doubt, and also for non-vegans, more for the non-vegans to enjoy vegan food. The food is such an important part of everyone's life. I think that's the main cause for everything. So I wanted people to somehow like get out of the misconception that vegan food is just salads and soups, nothing more than that, and very boring and not tasty food. So that was the main thing that I wanted to break. I wanted people to go like come with an open mind, enjoy our food, and then later on make up your mind to what they want to do.
How did the meat eaters respond?
It's been super interesting, actually. Meat eaters, I have a couple, like lots of meat eaters who come here, and they just cannot, like especially tofu is something which, they are so fond of, and they always keep telling me, that it's so meaty, it tastes so good. And I have a non-vegetarian couple who used to come to the cafe right from the time I started. And they were non-vegetarians but very open to the concept of vegan. So they would come and enjoy food all the time, and over a period of time I realized, and that's what they came and told me later on, like I think after 3-4 months of them coming very regularly to the cafe, they told me that they have stopped meat and they loved my cheese. So now they are like my number one regular customers who order cheese every month from me. So that was the achievement which I was looking at. And I have a lot of people. Of course, now I'm trying to slowly get a lot of mock meat dishes onto my menu. So once I move to Koregaon Park, I think that's going to be my number one priority, to get people try mock meat and to somehow like get meat eaters on board with that. Because we have tried it in a couple of fests where we have made keema, like soy with soy chunks, and that has been very successful. And actual meat eaters have come back with feedbacks that the food is like really good, and if this is what they're getting instead of meat, then they wouldn't like opt for meat and they would have this. So yeah, that's the next aim that we are looking at, meat, mock meat.
Yeah. So do you think promoting vegan food is a good form of activism for the animals?
Yes, yeah, I think yes. I think because food plays a very major role in all our lives, and I think that's the number one excuse, like people are not able to get off their conditioning in terms of food, and I think food is going to play a very major role in getting people on board with vegan activism, or to even get them on board, like to understand the whole concept, and to get get them to understand the concept of veganism. And it is going to help. Food is going to be a major part of activism, yes.
So what do you say to people that want to set up their own vegan cafes? What advice do you have for them?
For me, this whole cafe was more of a passion thing which I wanted to, and it's been a beautiful learning journey. If people want to start their vegan cafes, I think they should just opt for vegan cafe, because vegan is the future. And only when people see like a lot of vegan places opening, that's when people will will start thinking that of course there has to be something about veganism, that there are so many places opening up, so many people like me who are taking the risk to start something in a total like a mainstream thing. So yes, it is going to be the future, and my advice to all people who are planning to start vegan place, just go for it. Just go for it, and maybe like strategy plays a very vital role. Start off with not using the term vegan too much, say like plant-based, dairy-free, organic. Build a nice customer base, build people who can come and eat food and enjoy, and then slowly start planting seeds of veganism in them. Don't right away go, it's a vegan place, because people are closed about it right now. The only way they can open up is when they come, they try, they enjoy food, and that's when they will start exploring it. So the advice would be totally go for it. Start more vegan places. I'll be more than happy to see a lot of vegan places in India and in Pune. And yes, and your marketing is going to play a vital role for you in your business.
Do you think people are afraid of the word vegan?
I don't know about being afraid, but I'm sure people are very ignorant about it. People still in India, there's a lot of confusion with vegan and vegetarian. So we need to break that first, the thing that vegan is different, vegetarian is different, they're two different things. And yeah, people are ignorant. I wouldn't say they're scared, but they're ignorant. Scared maybe to some extent, because what they feel is that vegan is very extreme. What I'm going to do without milk? They're so conditioned into having milk. We all are. I was also a born vegetarian. Milk was a very essential element of my life. So a lot of people think that there is no life after dairy. So that's only going to happen through education and awareness, and that's what we need to focus on.
So what other forms of education and activism do you do?
Forms of activism, right now it's through the cafe. We do a lot of nutrition programs. We do a lot of cooking workshops. That's a way to motivate people, because there are a lot of people who come who are not vegans. They just come because there's a cooking workshop. And we usually make it a point to, share a video about the dairy industry. Or the person who come, the person who takes the workshop, they are the ones who, will give an introduction about why it is bad and why it's not good. And that is helping change people's mindsets now. Other than that, I used to do a lot of potlucks every month. I used to conduct potlucks where I used to get a lot of non-vegans on board and have potlucks, and also have documentary screening at the end, so the non-vegans understand what is the whole thing about. So yes, so this is what I was doing, potlucks, and now the cafe, which is going to be like a hub for everything, every kind of activism.
What is it like being vegan in India? In Pune, I guess.
Okay, so my journey started very interestingly when I was in the UK. I was in London for 3 years, and it was so easy for me to turn vegan. I had so much of variety. I mean, I had everything available. I could not miss anything, But when I came to India, that was a big shock for me, because nothing was available except soy milk, tofu, and to some extent soy curd. That was the only thing that was available, nothing else was. So my actual vegan journey started with me experimenting on cooking, So I started cooking and experimenting and learning how to cook, and that's where actually my whole journey started. So being vegan is not really difficult, but you need to be very aware of things. You need to stress whenever you go out that this is what you cannot eat and this should not be in your food. We're very vegetarian friendly anyways, India. So it's just that if we kind of tell the chef that we are allergic to dairy or we don't want them, so then they will start reacting and start working towards it. But a lot of times they don't understand vegan, so you have to be very layman. So you have to talk that no ghee, no butter, no dairy. So you have to be very specific. So it's not very tough. It's just, I think, matter of time where this is going to catch up, the whole concept.
Why did you become vegan?
I turned vegan for the animals. And in fact, the story was so interesting. I've been into rescue work for almost 8 years now. And I got connected to a lot of international activists when I was in the rescue work. So it was one fine day, I remember, Facebook was just in thing that time, and I just got connected to a lot of people. And I saw this one lady from UK, she was a friend of mine, she had just posted about the dairy cows. And then, that's something that really caught my eyes, because I used to be very proud to be a pure vegetarian. I wouldn't even have eggs. So I used to be, I'm an animal lover, a pure vegetarian. And that's when I saw that link about dairy cows, And I was like, what is this, what is this? Let me go and check it out. So I went and I checked it out. I cannot tell you how, disgusted I was when I read what was actually happening. And then there were some sublinks in that which pointed to the PETA's dairy industry video in India. And that was it. I mean, I just saw the first 10 seconds and I couldn't see more, and I didn't want to see more. That was it. I changed my mind. I was very radical. That was it. The whole thing, that whole night I cried, and next day morning I was off everything. So my journey is totally and for the animals and for ethical reasons. We are no one, we are not God or we are not anything. We should not, and I totally believe that we are all equal. We have no right. We have just no right to exploit, use or do anything to animals. It's like a nature's way, and we should just let it be the way it is. That's it.
So you mentioned nature, but some people say that like the animals are there and it's a natural cycle for us to go kill them. Like they've been put on this earth for us to provide. So how do you normally answer that question?
This nature's thing, it's a typical argument, but I mean, it's like a very long debate, and I think if we go over it, I think we'll be sitting all through night discussing it. I just think that nature, when whatever said and done, nature has its own ways. These are farmed animals. These are totally different from the nature's and the natural wild animals. These are animals which we are bringing into existence. We are breeding them. We are getting them on board so that we eat or whatever we use them. So these are completely different. If we don't, the supply or our demand falls in terms of dairy and meat, we won't be breeding these many animals. These many animals will not come. So this is not natural basically. What we are doing is totally unnatural. We are breeding them for our own needs. If we don't do that, nature will be in perfect balance. So I think I totally believe that nature has its own way, and this nature argument is very flawed. It's like totally flawed.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for people that want to go vegan?
I think veganism is the best thing to do, and it is not difficult. I mean, people just think that it is difficult. It is not difficult at all. I think people should just listen to their conscience. Their conscience will definitely tell them to do the right thing, and the right thing is to go vegan. And if they listen to their conscience, they are going to be sorted, and they are going to turn vegan. So it's all about your own conscience and making you reach the realization and kind of awareness and all that which is needed, that activists are doing. But it is at the end your own journey, your own conscience. But I feel that once your conscience is there and it's clear about something, going vegan is not difficult at all. It is not.
So thank you.
Welcome.